So some of you guys are worried about where you are in life. This guy's he was 24 years old, made $9,000 in his first year. So now he's got his own Netflix show. Right guys, before we start the video, if you want to join our school community, just yesterday we did a talk on Dana White, his success, what he went through to get the UFC to where it is today. And then off the back of that, we had a 3-hour discussion regarding just a general Q&A and AI technology. It was unbelievable. It's just some great guys in there. I'm loving being in this community with all of you. So if you want to join, the link is below. Now let's get straight into the video. So guys, I decided to make this video because anybody who's been watching my channel in the last few months has known that I've been really banging this drum. I've really been talking about this a lot. And I've been talking to the guys in the school community about this a lot. I was talking to the guys at One House about this a lot as well. And I think the reason being is those two things have benefited me massively because I'm getting recall from you guys more often. I'm reading the comments, I'm replying to the comments a lot more. But when I'm out at Granada, One House, I'm meeting you guys personally. When I'm on the school community, I'm talking and meeting you guys, and I'm hearing your problems, I'm hearing what you're dealing with. And one thing that keeps popping up, and it's annoying me, you guys aren't annoying me, but the world is annoying me. Because one thing that keeps popping up is you guys keep saying, I'm 24 years old, I feel like I'm behind in life, I'm only making like 4 or 5 grand a month. And I just think that whole narrative is so played out. I'm not a fan of it. I'm probably guilty of adding to it. And I think over the years, this whole everybody's making 10 grand a month has actually done more damage to people than inspired them. Because a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I don't want you guys to be average. I made that video before about you're not the average man and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think so many people are telling lies. I think so many people are putting so much pressure on men today that you're almost like reluctant to start because you're just thinking, I'm so far behind, I feel shit about myself. Like, you guys should be enjoying every step of the journey. Very much as I have, like ever since I started my business and started my journey, and every time it went up by 1,000 a month, every time you hit like 4, then 5, then above and above and above and beyond, and whatever it reaches, like, it's fun. Selling my first supplement is fun. Writing my book and seeing the first person buy it was fun. Seeing the first person sign up to One House and be like, I really believe in this idea, it's fun. Being on set for the streaming platform and filming our first documentary, Simp Society, which I need to ask you guys actually. I want to release one of the streaming platform shows for free on YouTube. Let me know which one you guys want to see. I was thinking of Simp Society because it was filmed obviously so long ago. It makes sense to bring it out now because most people have watched it. But I mean, there's Fatherless Generation, Bare Knuckle. I just want to release one for free just to show the people who haven't paid like the sheer quality of what we're working on. I just thought it'd be fun. Let me know in the comments. I will read them all. So yeah, I made this video where I've actually broken down like the real financials of. I've done the UK because obviously I live here. It's easy for me to understand. It's easy for me to break down, but it applies to pretty much every area of the world. And when I break this down for you guys, you will see how silly this narrative is. You will see how silly it is that like everybody's making 10 grand a month. I'm 21 years old. I'm making 3,000 per month, and I feel like I'm so behind. When I break it down for you and you see the realities of it, you're gonna go, oh. Like, I'm doing really well. Now I feel great about myself. Now I feel as though I actually belong in the world. And let me just get my head down and work and have the two most important qualities, which is long-term decision-making and patience. Because here's what's messing guys up. I need 10 grand a month. Let me just do something quick. And it's like that passionate idea that you had that you knew was going to become something that you wanted your lifelong career to be built around. You're no longer going to do that, are you? You're very much just going to sit there and go, how do I make money? How do I make money quick? And those sort of decisions, I think, they're not good. I'll be honest with you guys, they're not good. They tear you down. Well, anything you try and do quick just doesn't work. I mean, you guys recently saw I released a short. It was like a motivational video, and that was from Fatherless Generation. James Sexton, the divorce lawyer, he said the sum total of all the wisdom that I built over the years that I could pass on to my son would be the hard thing to do and the right thing to do is usually the same thing. And this is what I don't want you guys to do, is pick the short term, how do I make 10k a month option, and it just absolutely destroys your life. It absolutely just, you're chasing the money. We used to do this in fishing, so I used to fish a lot. And the best fishermen would just pick a good spot and just stay there all day, and eventually the fish would come to them because they do what was called baiting the swim, and then they just clean up. The shit guys that were new to it, they'd run round and like, there's a splash over there, I'll go over there. There's a splash over there, I'll go over there. Oh, now they're over there. All the fish are over there now. And it's like, it's just one just jumping up, like, chill out. But this is the mentality I think a lot of you guys are having, trying to chase that 10k per month. And I just don't think it's helping you at all. We're going to jump over to the screen now and I'll show you exactly what I mean. But I think you guys are chasing the money. And as soon as you start chasing the money and you're trying to find the next thing and the next trend, it just leads to ultimate destruction because you're never fully in on whatever you're trying to achieve, and it's not a good idea. So we're going to jump over to the screen and I'm going to show you guys how stupid all of this really is. Right, so to start, guys, I just want to show you how stupid all of this is, right? This is one of my heroes, Ryan Serhant. The reason being, I just love what he's done on social media. I love the way that he was showing people around houses on YouTube. He was doing virtual kind of viewings and stuff like that. He created a whole new industry and he had a big personality. He was willing to do whatever he wanted to, whatever he had to do to make it. And I appreciated the guy's hustle. And I just thought with the silver hair, he was a little bit older. I appreciated what he was doing. I loved his vlogs. You know, it's cold in New York and he's like hustling, going from place to place. He was just somebody that I admired. And I just want to kind of show you his journey, right? So this guy is today 40 years old, all right? I just want to show you guys how normal this really is. So let's start here. In 2008, it said here he earned just 9,000 from his first year of business. Now all of this is different because he's a superstar, you know, he made it work. But in his first year of business, $9,000 in 2008, which I've worked out he was about 24 when he got like his broker's license and stuff like that, okay? So some of you guys are worried about where you are in life. This guy's, he was 24 years old, made $9,000 in his first year, starting this new business, okay? And then if we go over here, this was 6 years ago. I'm starting a vlog. This is when his career really picked up. This is when it went crazy. When he started doing these daily vlogs or weekly vlogs and whatnot, and he was showing properties online, releasing these property videos. This is when it went crazy. And 6 years ago, it was when he was first started thinking about it. And the quality of this just looks poor. Like compared to some of his stuff today, it looks poor. So he's just like really starting out on this. And you think I showed you, if he's 40, he was 34 when he did this. So 24, he made $9,000. 10 years later at 34, he's decided, do you know what, I'm going to start a vlog, which ultimately changed the game, like really changed his life and just skyrocketed those views and made him into what he is today. Now, you guys got to think, right, that's 10-year gap. That's a 10-year gap. So since he was born until 24-year gap, he finds his career. 10 years later, he does the one thing that is going to change his life, right? So it's 10 years between starting and getting to where he is now. Then we jump over here. He founded his company in 2020. Okay, so we're saying over here, we're saying over here 6 years ago when he was 34 years old. And then we're jumping over here in 2020. So 4 years back, if he's 40, he's 36. Right, so at 34, he decided to start doing these vlogs. At 36, he decides to create his own company. Right, so 2 years later, he decides to start his own company. So things are speeding up now. The gaps are getting shorter and shorter. What have we got here? Let me find the right picture, guys. Right, so now, he's got his own Netflix show. So they started filming this when he was about 39. So what you can see is the gaps are getting smaller between like iconic moments. And this is what happens in life, but male life especially, is you might have like 10 years where you're trying to figure everything out. It finally clicks to some extent. And then it's like 6 years before the next big moment happens. And then it's 3 years, and then it's a year, and then it's 6 months. And then before you know where you are, every single week, every single month, something major is happening, and your whole life is changed. Well, that's where he is now. And look at this picture. What a phenomenal picture. What a superstar of a man. All the money in the world, owning Manhattan, Netflix. Well, as I told you guys, he is 40 years old. Right? And when did he start? 24. So 16-year journey to go from $9,000 per year to here. And do you know what's crazy? Just 6 years ago, he started his first vlog. I'm going to start a vlog. I'm just going to see how this goes. I'm going to start a vlog. And then just a few years ago, 4 years ago, I'm going to start my own company. And then within a blink, Netflix show. That's the exponential effect of male age. That's how things really speed up. And I want you guys to know, This is a normal male journey. You know, you may be 40 years old and you've finally taken over the world. That's very, very normal. I mean, I'm 32 today, and I'm probably in a better position than he was at 32 when I actually add everything up and look into it and whatnot. Potentially, it's close. But, you know, at 34, he started doing vlogs. And I've started doing vlogs as of, well, it'll be this year. It'll be very much like very regular. We'll be doing them all the time. So it's 2 years ahead of a guy that I consider like top level. And it's like I said, it's not a competition, but when you start looking at these things, you're like, oh, it's very normal. Like the people that you see at the top that you want to aspire to be like, who are making, you know, 50 to 100 million a year. They got their own Netflix show and stuff like that. You're like, oh, I'm on your coattails. I'm right behind you. I'm doing the right things, and it gives you that encouragement. But you know, it's easy to look at these people and just be like, oh, by, you know, you see on social media, at 21, this guy's making 100 grand a month, and it's just like, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But based on the statistics I'm about to show you guys, I think a lot of people are talking shit. And even if they're not talking shit, because I don't want to be a hater, I think it creates a pot of delusion where you think almost like everybody's making that level of money. But guys, they're not. They're really not. Like, it's taken me years to get to the position that I'm in now. I started this business when I was 21. I'm 32 today. It's 11 years grinding away at it. And obviously it's in the best position it's ever been in today. We've got multiple businesses, multiple incomes. It's taken 11 years to get us there. And I think within 6 months it'll be literal perfection. We'll have a whole team and we'll just drive forwards. But it's 11 years. It's one hell of a grind. And you know, breaking that 10K barrier per month. I was like 28 years old before I was able to do that. It's not easy, guys. And I gave up my entire teens and 20s to make that happen. Like, most people aren't doing that. Most people don't have that level of information early on. I just want to show you guys something, right? This is, where is it? I think this was the question that was proposed. I had a look, you know, it's very recent, so you know it's not like influenced by inflation. But this person here said, the internet has people thinking making 10K a month is normal. The average salary in the UK is 35,000 a year. Please don't forget that when you're comparing yourself to all these loudmouths on social media. Like I said, I'm probably guilty of this. I've done this in the past, right? If you're surrounded by, if all you're listening to is like successful people, you're surrounding yourself with that narrative, it dilutes your brain where you think you're miles behind. And like I said, I don't want you guys to be average. It's the right thing to do, but just remember how well you're actually doing. And then I went through a few of these and screenshotted them. And, you know, this is, I just found this very interesting that the average normal person just finds this so delusional, because it's like a polar opposite narrative to what we're seeing online. And it's like, I just Googled it, 4% of the UK population earn more than 100 grand a year. Well, do you know what, guys? That's 8,333. So that's not even 10 grand a month, right? So when people say I make 10 grand a month, I make 10K per month, it's like 2% of the population. It's just like a ridiculously small number, right? So you could have 100 people and only 2 of them are making the money that you're seeing online. You forget about the 98 people who aren't. Like, you're doing very well, believe me. If you're making more than 4 or 5 grand a month, you're killing it. If you're making more than 3.5, you're ahead of the majority of people. And when you see it based on age, you're absolutely killing it. And yeah, and it's just like people saying like he's pretty damn stupid. I just think this is really healthy to see. Like, I'm on 26K per year. I'm 37. You know, hearing how better off everyone else seems to be, you know, it's quite testing. Though I remind myself how privileged I am compared to others. I have good health. It can still be disheartening. Like, this is a big narrative out in the world right now. Same age as you and on 14,000 less. Okay, so it's probably part-time. That's why I said, is it even legal? 35K a year. No idea where that figure comes from. Never been in that much a year. So there's 3 people there not earning that. Where is the average coming from? This person's laughing their head off. Well, I'll tell you where it comes from. London. London very much sways that, you know. Otherwise, it's, you know, that 30, what was it, 35? That's more like 27, if you take London out of it. There we go. You know, it says here, this is very much swayed towards London. Like, absolutely this. Average UK salary is actually 28 a year. This person, you know, has found it. I'd be rich with 35K a year. I work full time. Like, how crazy is this, guys? When you actually see this narrative from normal human beings that don't have an online social media ego, it actually settles, you know, everybody. I think it's so healthy for young men to see this person, I'm broke. And with 35k being the average, it means a heck of a lot of people earn a great deal less. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the way to look at it. If 35 is the average, that means like 50% of people are obviously earning underneath that, or probably more, because the data is skewed by the top 1%. So it might even be like 60 to 70 people, 70% of people earning less than that, which brings something, is serious food for thought. And that's pretty much, I just went through that and found that narrative because I just thought it was so interesting for you guys to actually see what real people in the real world say and how crazy they find that. So a lot of people getting disheartened, and I just think it's so silly. Now, I've got some figures here. What do the top 2% earn in the UK? Well, 100k. So top 2% apparently, this is according to the Times, which I would definitely trust the Times over other publications. So they're saying it's 2% of the nation's earners. And if it's over 65,000, you're in the top 10%. But yeah, like top 2% of people earning over 100 grand, which is 8,333. So when people say, I make 10k per month, it's like, according to this, you probably don't. Right? And this is why I think everybody's full of shit. And I think everybody online is full of shit. I think everyone's tricking you. I think they're changing it to dollars. I think then they're like, put it this way, guys. If somebody says to you, I'm 6 foot, like, put it this way. How many people are 5'11"? Nobody's 5'11". There's a lot of guys that are 5'10" too that claim 6 foot, right? Nothing wrong with that. Is what it is. Everyone can do whatever they want to do. But I'm just saying, with that same mentality, don't you think that would transfer over to money? So if somebody was earning £6,000 per month, they're probably going to go, well, what's that in dollars? Well, it's about 8.5, something like that. It's close enough. I could bump it up. I'll just say I make 10. I'll make 10 next month, so I'll just tell people I make 10 grand a month. Like, this is happening a lot. I guarantee you, people are forcing those numbers up, because if you look at this, top 2% of earners in the whole of the UK, which is, you got I think it's 77 million people, right? And the top 2% make 100 grand. So maybe it's like 1.5, maybe. Yeah, it's about 1.5 to 1% of people that are actually making 10k per month plus. And this is what it said here, why you might be richer than you think, because this whole narrative is just so skewed. It says here 4%, so I mean, we could call it 3, but this is a Reddit post. I would much rather go with the Times. So top 2% of earners, 100k. When you see that, guys, and you realize that that's 8,333 per month, you go, oh my god, like, it's not even 10, and everyone's saying they make 10k per month. So somebody's lying here. If that's the top 2%, like, somebody's lying, because the way you'd look at it online is everybody's making that money. And I just think it's making so many young men just feel really negative about themselves and like they're miles behind. But according to this, you're not. If you look at this, I thought this was really eye-opening. Here are some figures for average savings for the figures in the UK. And obviously you can do this for your own country and whatnot. And on one of our live calls on school the other day, we were talking about, there's one guy who lives in Sweden, and he was talking about Stockholm. And he was like, top 1% in Stockholm is like 8,000 per month. It was like 7 or 8,000 per month. And it's like, so that's even lower. Do you know what I mean? You're in a top level European country where there is a lot of wealth. It's an expensive place, and it's even lower. So, like 7,000 puts you, I think it was 7 or 8. I think he said 8 actually. Puts you in the top 1%. It's mind blowing, because it's like they're not that's a lot of money, but it's not like crazy figures where everybody's like, oh, I make 10k per month. Here's how to make 10k per month. I just find it so delusional. It's like, are they actually doing it themselves? But this is eye opening. The average savings by age in the UK, right, is £3,636 for people in their 20s. And people in their 30s, 3,748. So, how nuts is that? Most of the people that are your competition in their 20s and 30s have less than £4,000 in their bank account for that entire 20-year period. And people are panicking, saying I'm behind in life. Looking at this, I can see what people are doing, because if you've got the same amount, but this is how easy I think it actually is to get ahead in life. And I think there's a lot of delusion in the world, and the narrative is just not, I don't think it's healthy, and I want to try and nip this in the bud this year and help a lot of young men. But you look at that and you think 3,636 for 20-year-olds, and then it's about £100 more when you move into your 30s. Why? Because people just take shit on. People take on more bills. Like, why is it that your savings only go up by about £100 on average 10 years later? Because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you really think that everybody has 10 grand a month coming in, 10 grand a month. I know somebody who makes 10 grand a month. You hear all this and you feel like you're behind, but everyone's over leveraged, everyone's over financed. Like, They've got a car that they're paying like £1,000 a month for. Their places too. They're left with, and I'll show you guys in a minute. It's embarrassing how much money people are left with. People are just keeping up with the Joneses. So and so got married. We're gonna get married. They bought a new house. We're gonna get a new house. And like people are just struggling for no reason. Like for that to go up by £100 is terrible. Then you look here. In your 40s, 5,714. In the 50s, 9,402. So people, anybody 50 and below, the average is like, what, 3, 4, the average is about 6,000, 5,000. Well, it's about 6. So the average is about £6,000 in their bank account for anybody under the age of 50. And you're worried about you're making £4 a month and you feel like you're behind and you're 21. Guys, it's crazy. And then people here, like 60s, whatever, well, pensions come out, but that's 18,245, and they're not competition. You know, you could even argue anybody competition for you guys, my average age watching this, is 40 below. So then you can realize that the average is about 4,300, that the average person, or sorry, 4,500, something like that, or 4,700 it would be. So 4,700 would be roughly the average that the average person under the age of 40 has got in their bank account at any given time. You're putting so much pressure on yourselves, and it's like, yeah, I don't want you guys to be average. I want you guys to keep striving, but just know you're not miles behind. Like if you've got £5,000 in your bank account and you make more than, if you make about £3,500 a month, you're actually way ahead of the average if you lived in the UK, for example. And you can see it here. The average in the UK as of 2023 was 34,000, about 35,000. Okay, so 35,000 per year, and that is heavily skewed by London. And top 1% earners. So the majority of people are earning less than that. And you've got to remember as well, guys, the world is built around this figure. Like, I don't just use UK as an example, but the UK is built around that number. What is the point in offering, like, food, mortgages? I know the cost of living's gone up, but what's the point in offering anything that this salary can't actually afford? Because then nobody would be able to buy anything. So the whole world is built around this figure. So if you can get anywhere around this figure, and like I said, I don't want you guys to be average. I want you to strive for the best. But if you can get anywhere around that number, you can have an amazing life. Like some of the happiest people I know have got like 2 or 3 kids. They make that much money. Their missus, the wife, earns that much money. They've got like 70 grand a year coming into the household, 2, 3 kids, a mortgage, and they're just ticking by every single month and they're enjoying themselves. I think like I'd like you guys to achieve more, but I don't know why that's frowned upon so much, because it's like I'm a human being who's managed to make his way in this world, who's managed to, you know, create a path, meet a woman, have some kids, raise them, get a mortgage. I see that as a round of applause. I see that as well done. Like you've worked your balls off and you've built something great. And the average founder of a company, a successful company, the average founder is 45 years old when they first started that company. Like, I'm just getting sick of this online narrative. And look, like I said, I've contributed to it because I've said to you guys on this channel before, and I'm not saying figures anymore because I just think it makes people feel bad and everybody comes after me and tries to get rich off me, which sucks. But, you know, I was 28 years old making more than 10 grand per month, and I was telling you guys, and I was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it gives you encouragement. It lets you know that it's possible, but I think it also sets unrealistic expectations. You got to understand I gave 7, it was about 7.5 years, well, it would have been 7, so I gave 7 years of my life and sacrificed everything to get to that number. Like, no, it's not healthy, it's not normal. Most people aren't going to do that. I was basically psychotic to get to that point. I don't think there's much wrong with early on having a good 9-to-5 job that pays you a good whack of money and you've got a decent life and you're building skills and you're taking your time. Like, that's why I showed you the Ryan Serhant story at the start, because it's like, this guy was 24 years old when he started. 10 years later at 34, he starts a vlog. Now he's making money in between that, but he starts his vlog. Everything skyrockets. So 10 years after starting. And then from 34 to 36, you know, he's doing the vlog and it does so well. He's making so much money that he starts his own company. So he starts his own company at 36, and some of you are 26 panicking that you haven't started your own company yet and you've got a 9-to-5 job. And this guy's like one of my heroes, right? And then 3 years later, he's got his own show on Netflix and he's one of the biggest stars in the world, making more money than ever. Like, this is very normal. Like, not a Netflix show, but it's normal to take that long. Like, it's taken him 16 years from when he started to get to where he is today. And like I said, some of you are 19 years old watching this now going, yeah, but I need like 10 grand a month, otherwise I'm not as good as this online guru and stuff like that. It's just so silly, guys. It's driving people nuts. Look at this. This will show you like what the average person is doing. Okay, this look, the UK is terrible. USA is doing well. Switzerland, well, everyone's doing well except the UK. But even these numbers are quite small. Even these numbers are quite low. This is the average amount of money that people in these areas are putting away into savings every single year. So Switzerland, well done. That's a decent amount. Sweden, Luxembourg, and USA, not bad, but you'd expect it to be more. The UK, that's terrible. Do you know where that comes from? £724 per year is what British people are putting in the bank every single year. That's why those savings were so low. That's why it's like the average person has 3 grand, 3.5 grand. But do you know what it is? It's drinking culture. I can see what people are doing just based on these numbers, and these numbers are released by banks and financial websites, guys. So these are bang on as of 2024 too. Don't mess with Helen Kirain. She knows the details. But I can see what people are doing. People are getting paid. They're spending all their money on alcohol, nights out, all this other shit. And one thing goes wrong, like the car breaks down, and they've just got nothing left. People are keeping up with the Joneses. They're getting that money, and they're going, I've got 3-4 grand in the bank. Maybe, let's call it 6. And then it's like, oh, my friend's just got married. Are we going to get married? And the guy's like, oh, fuck, like, I'm probably going to spend like 5-6 grand on a ring for this girl. Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a loan. I know people who have taken like 20 grand loans to get married in the UK. It's a dangerous game. Everyone's financing a car and stuff like that. And like, in my opinion, just, you don't even need one. I think, like, I added up the other day, my car costs me about £7,000-8,000 per year on like fuel, insurance, tax, everything. When I moved to London, I'm like, I'll probably just get rid of it. I just don't see the point. I really don't see the point. It's like, why would I keep it? It's costing me 8 grand a year, and I won't really even use it. It's currently in Granada, Spain. I've not missed it. It's just like, it's not really even an issue. I'll drive it back. I'm actually gonna do a road trip for the stream platform, which will be on school. We're calling it Gentleman's Journey. So we're gonna be driving through Europe, all these cool little places. It'll be like Top Gear. Now that the Grand Tour is finished, we're gonna do something similar. You guys are gonna love it, and I think moving forward, I can do more things like that. Balling on a budget, just take these holidays, set myself like a £500 budget, £1,000 budget, and be like, watch me just have a time in my life. And we can't spend more than that. I think it'd be really cool. But when you see these sort of figures, you just realize what people are doing. They're keeping up with the Joneses. They're going, oh, they've just bought a new car, we need to buy one too. I've just got a pay rise, but my quality of life needs to improve. For people to have the same amount of savings in their 30s as their 20s, my guess would be that they're earning 2 or 3 times more, but they're spending 2 or 3 times more too. They're upgrading everything that they have, and they're not worried about, building themselves up. And then when you see stuff like this, and you realize how the average person's living, you see that only the top 2%, the only top 1% of the UK population are actually making, or top 1.5% are making the 10k per month that's advertised by everybody in the world. You realize, oh, I'm miles ahead. I'm doing so well. And that doesn't mean you should get lazy. It doesn't mean you should sit there and go, I'm going to take my foot off the gas because I'm above the average person. You should always push for as much as you can humanly do. But I hope it's going to give you guys a lot of encouragement. I hope look at this little sun necktie. It's pretty cool. I hope it's going to give you guys some encouragement. I hope it's going to give you guys, some belief. And realize that, hey, do you know what? I'm not behind. I'm exactly where I should be. Let me keep my nose to the grindstone. Let me just keep working. Let me do as Chris says, which is many thinking decades are dangerous. Let me start making some good, clever, long-term decision making that has like a 10-year window attached to it or timeline attached to it. Let me just get my head down and work and enjoy it. That's what nobody does anymore, guys. Nobody enjoys it. If it's like a 10-year journey in terms of like success, like everybody wants it yesterday. And I just don't think it's healthy, because you're going to wake up in 10 years time. You're going to sit there and you're going to go, I've got everything I ever wanted, but all I did to get there was moan. All I did was bitch and moan and sit there and go, but yeah, it's good, but it's not what it needs to be. It's good, but I'm not there yet. I'll be happy when it's like, this is your life. You only get one. If you spend 10 years just whinging and moaning until you actually get it, and head down, just stuck in your laptop, not really picking your head up to enjoy yourself and take a couple days off here and there and like enjoy life, the experiences of life, like you're going to pick your head up one day and go, I've just wasted 10 years of my life. Like, yeah, I've got everything I ever wanted, but what else have I got? So like, it's important to do so. And I just think enjoying it on the journey to success, like, yeah, 10 grand a month plus is fun. It will change your life, guys, but like enjoy it all the way. Enjoy the ups and downs. It's not going to be linear. It's going to be tough. And You know, some of you will make it, some of you might not, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean you're gonna have a shitty life because you haven't made it. Most people haven't. When, you know, I learned along the way when I used to say certain figures to people. They used to be like, that what? Like people that were in their like 40s and 50s, they were just like, what? Like how have you possibly pulled that off? Like it's so alien to them. They're just like, I have 1,400 per month. That's what I've lived on for the last 30 years. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, this is how most of the world is living. But there's like this online narrative that's killed people. This is something I spoke about in school the other day. The average British adult living in a UK city has 939 a month disposable. So again, that tells me that you should have more at the end of the year, but it also shows me again that people are trying to keep up with the Joneses. People are going, let's book a holiday. My friend just went to Santorini. We need to go too, babe. And then the guy's like, yeah, sure. Like, I need to do that. And it's not a female problem because guys will do the same where like they're sat in on a Saturday night and they see that everyone else is out and they're like, hey, I'll go and spend £150 on beer. You know, if you just go out every Friday and Saturday or even just every Saturday and you spend, I don't know, £100 on like an outfit, taxi, kebab, beer. Right, that's £400 down if you just went out on a Saturday on that number. And then you add in like, because that's disposable income. They're not even talking about like, you know, they're not factoring in many things that you would actually need. Like nobody's saying, oh, you need a new t-shirt, you need a new pair of shoes, you need, you know, they're not even in fact, I don't think they're even factoring in like fuel and stuff like that there because they're saying that's a choice, that's something that you would do. So when you divide it down, you might only have like 500, you're spending 400 on alcohol. And if we look at that figure of 724 per year that's being put away, that checks out. I mean, it checks out. It's less than £100 saved per month. Like, it's so bad, guys. It's ridiculous. And it's come, I swear to God, it's coming from this narrative because everyone's trying to keep up. Everyone's trying to, I know it sounds strange because it's like, how is this narrative of 10k per month making people poorer? Because everyone's trying to keep up. Everyone's trying to like, you know, I don't have a watch, as you guys know. I just don't see the benefit of one. I have absolutely no purpose to go and buy one. I have no desire to go and buy one in the near future. I'd see that money better spent into the business. There's people I know that are making 2-3 grand a month that have got a Rolex, and it's just because they feel like they need one. You know, there's people who are making 2 grand a month who have got better cars than me, and it's just, I find it insane. And this is what's making people poor. On here, Nationwide said the average amount of disposable cash left over at the end of each month, on average, had fallen from £328 in 2021 to £295 in 2022 and £237 at the end of 2023. So, yeah, like cost of living's going up, but people have got £237 at the end of every month, roughly, saved up. I mean, that's really bad. So then you think every year they're probably saving about 1.5 thousands, but then, you know, they might just like book a holiday. Like that one holiday a year, or the TV breaks and they need to get a new one, or the car breaks down and they need to repair it. So I've told you guys before, the average person is living 2 months away from destruction. And you got this online narrative about like every 15-year-old's making $1 million a year. They're not, believe me. I do one-to-one calls. I do, you know, these group calls. People are telling me what they make, what situation they're in. People come to me with, you know, people who are apparently killing it in life come to me and say, I'm in financial debt, I'm in trouble, I've got this, I've got that. It's a completely different world behind the curtain than the one that you're being told about, guys. So the message of the day, what I want you to take away from this is, fuck what everyone else is doing. Forget what everyone else is doing. Follow the Ryan Serhant pattern. You know, put the plan in play to be in your 30s, 40s, whatever, and you finally made it. But what you've done is you've built a beautiful business. Or you've risen up to the top job in your 9-to-5, you know, career, whatever you wanted. And just enjoy it along the way. Now, if you do it quicker, great. You're better than me, you're better than Ryan, whatever. But take your time, guys. Take your time. Like, make 10-year decisions, because men who think in decades are dangerous, and it's going to put you in a much better position. I promise you. So what I thought I'd show you guys before this sun takes over my entire body. I look like a villain here, look. Especially on the mustache. I'd show you this. Like, a lot of guys start getting really disheartened about, I'll never meet a woman, I don't make enough money and all this stuff. It actually doesn't have a lot to do with money. It's more like future trajectory, who you are as a man, you know, where you're actually headed and stuff like that, and levels of ambition and whatever. You know, you don't have to be just some like rich moron. But, you know, I just thought, what's one job that everyone really celebrates is like a cheerleader for like, I don't know, Miami Dolphins or something like that, you know. These guys are making like £500 per game. I saw it was something like 22,000 to 50,000 a year. Now some of them might make more, but it's a very normal wage. Like Eagles pay their cheerleaders between $15 and $20 per hour and 500 per game. Like again, a normal wage. So like that's not a problem. Um, we've got here the average salary for a woman in the UK, 30, just shy of 30,000. Okay, so the men's was 36, so women's is lower. And then we've got, I just thought I'd go and find one on models. So the average salary for a model in the UK, and women actually get paid more than men, so this is probably, skewed more towards them. But overall, the average salary for a model in the UK, 40 to 50,000 per year, but starting salaries can be much lower. Average salary for a fashion model in London, 37,000. Some are getting, the top ones are getting paid like 62,000 per year as a base salary, but the national average is 36,000, with 61 being like the upper range. But we can call this like probably about 40,000 really. So that beautiful straight 10 model that you think, oh, I'll never be able to attract, she's making £40,000 per year. Like I don't know where, yeah, she's posting about being on location and being in all these different places and stuff like that, and you guys are getting disheartened, and I'm showing you guys that you shouldn't be getting disheartened about in terms of what the average person's earning and whatnot, and then you're worried about, will I ever attract a partner? Well, according to this, yes, you will, because they're not earning a lot of money either. So I just don't know where this whole narrative's come from, where you have to be making like $1 million a month, 10 grand a month, and all this. It's garbage, guys. Just stick to yourself, keep your head down, just keep working on you, enjoy it along the way, and have a nice life, okay? Otherwise, we're all going to get caught up in this like Dubai-like bubble where the world is just full of delusion. People don't live in the real world, and I just don't think it's healthy, especially as a young man. It's gonna mess you up where you're chasing the cash, you're chasing the short-term easy fix, and where that's going to lead you is ultimately just financial destruction. And I think that's happening for a lot of guys as they try and keep up with the Joneses, buy the latest shoes, buy the latest jumper, the latest coat, the latest car, a new house, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because when you look at the world, you go, well, somebody's fucking lying, because I've just gone through all these figures, and all these financial organizations and banks and stuff are telling me that all of you are earning a lot less than what your lives are showing. That model walking along with the expensive handbag, it probably just got given to her or bought for her by somebody. It's like, don't buy into all the garbage, guys. And what this will give you is it'll give you structure for your own businesses and 9-to-5 job and what you're after. But it'll also give you confidence, because you go, hey, do you know what? I'm not being a hater, but according to the statistics, 98% of you are full of shit. So I hope it helped, guys. I hope it, was able to cut through some of the bullshit and delusion that we're seeing in the world at the moment, and just stick to your goals, stick to what you're doing. If you ever need any help, let me know. I'd love to see you in the school community so I can talk to you one-to-one about this sort of thing. And I'll speak to you guys soon.